Manchester United and the Jadon Sancho saga appears to be entering into the final stages, with all three parties involved in this deal believing a conclusion could, and I repeat the word could, be met in the coming days. This has also been echoed by the Sunday World and Kevin Palmer, who has said that the terms of Jadon Sancho's transfer to Man United are being finalised. There is a growing belief that both sides are keen to find a resolution in the coming days. This is also pulls into what was spoken about late last night, and the Mirror were talking about the fact that the base transfer fee has been done and set, terms agreed. There is just the final negotiating over the payment structures of this deal. But it does appear right now that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is edging ever closer. We want your views. We want your opinions on this. Smash the like button. Hit the share button. Here we go. Good morning. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope that you are well this morning. Good morning to you. One of our members here, Chowdy, said, good morning. Are you now excited? I've been excited about Jadon Sancho this whole time, if I'm being absolutely honest. What was really interesting, there's a couple of things I want to pull on here before we get into the crux of this deal. It's been quite an interesting week for me, talking and developing some relationships with some of the most credible journalists in the business, some that have appeared on shows, some that's behind the scenes. There's more to come on that later on in the year for us in terms of deals we're working on as a channel to bring you the best possible news, best possible updates. One thing that was really interesting for me is that a lot of journalists are actually holding back on information now in case situations change. The reason it stands out to me as being interesting is that's something I've spoken about for a long, long time on the terrace, how a deal can be very close today, but by tomorrow morning, it can be almost dead. The world changes very, very quickly. Journalists are now getting into a position where they almost don't want to give the information out because they're the ones who are being hung, drawn, and quartered if the information doesn't pan out. That being said, the reason I bring that up now, the reason I think that's very important, is it was 3 days ago that Fabrizio Romano, on a number of podcasts, including his own, stated that in the coming days, you would see major updates on the Jadon Sancho situation. And he left it very open-ended, very kind of not so much open to interpretation, but let's just watch this space and see what transpires. And in the past 24 hours, there have been major updates in the Jadon Sancho deal. In fact, the last 48 hours. One, we were then privy to the exact amount of money being paid plus the add-ons. Yesterday, the final stages were being spoken about, terms being agreed in terms of the initial transfer fee. Personal terms are never going to be a problem. That's almost a case of semantics, how you want to interpret that information. But the big news today is that all three parties in this deal believe that this deal is drawing to a conclusion. Now, of course, and I'll throw this out there ahead of time, there could still be a spanner that hits the works in the next few days. It may not even be a player or club issue directly. It could be a sponsorship issue, which is going to take a week or two of legislation to get resolved before contracts can be signed, meaning the deal will protrude beyond the end, beyond the Euro 2020, which of course kicks off on the 11th. So we have to be very, very mindful of that. But there's a growing sense of confidence in this deal being completed very, very soon. Why did Falk say no negotiations? I have no idea why he said that. And that we've seen all the time that often we see the German press and the British press push out different pieces of information. I don't know who, I haven't spoke to him, so I have no idea as to why he has said that. But for me, I believe there have been negotiations. Again, it's a semantics thing for me. Have Man United directly spoke to Dortmund? Maybe not. So the fact they haven't spoke to Dortmund, you can officially say, well, we've had no negotiations. A lot of these talks are done through intermediaries. It's like the personal terms. Think about it from this way, Danny. Think about the personal terms. Have Man United actually signed an agreement with Sancho over the personal terms? No, can't do that until they have permission from Dortmund. So theoretically, no personal terms have been agreed. If they're verbally agreed for an intermediary, then they are agreed. They're just not binding. They're not a binding contract. They're a gentleman's agreement, a handshake, if you like. It becomes about semantics in these situations, as far as I'm concerned. Let's do some more of your comments that are coming through this morning. United Paper says, let's go. A lot of people talking Winks to United still. Listen, we spoke about that deal yesterday. I hope and pray that it doesn't happen personally, but we will see. We've got KJ backstage. We're going to bring on really soon. We're going to share the link for you all to come on and have your say this morning with us as well. One second here. There's a comment from Vincent who says, Terry, we need balls in the middle of the park. People like Basuma, Sal, and Ndidi. Rice sounds okay, but I feel he is lighter. Do you know what, bruv? Like the three names you've mentioned, Basuma, Sal, and Ndidi, barring Basuma, I would take Rice over Basuma. I would take Niguez and Ndidi over Declan Rice every day of the week, and always have felt that way. So, yeah, no issues in relation to that at all. I agree with you to a large degree, my friend. I really, really do. I really do. Red Devil down under Josh here says transfers this big have massive effects on journalist credibility. No one will completely confirm until he is signed on the line. This is very, very true, Josh, because we as fans have created this, though. We as fans it's almost, we take our anger out on the wrong people. So like yesterday, with the Buendia situation, there are a lot of journalists, I'm not naming them, but Arsenal journalists that are trying to save face here. 2 days ago, they told us about the bid that went in. If you actually read their articles and look at their tweets from around that time, it was, yes, Norwich want more. Arsenal continue talks. Arsenal are going to continue to negotiate. Arsenal will put a second bid in. Talks are ongoing. Even yesterday morning, one of the most credible Arsenal journalists tweeted saying talks between Arsenal and Norwich for Buendia are ongoing. Why are talks ongoing? To land you a new deal, to work out an option for yourselves. But during those negotiations, Buendia has gone, do you know what? I'm joining Aston Villa. So they've pushed on with that deal. Now, rather than journalists say, do you know what, the club gave us the wrong information or an agent gave us the wrong information, they try and backtrack and act like, oh, actually, let's spin this in the way of, oh, Arsenal walked away from it. Nobody in their heart of hearts believes that. They really, really don't. So I do feel a bit sorry for the journalists, because if they don't do the backtracking, if they don't do the, I'm going to die on this hill and back the club and do what else, fans turn on them. And for their careers, that they don't need that. It's a horrible environment, really, sometimes for these journalists. I completely get it. And we want the news, we want the information. But what we actually want is the right news. That we've changed as a society so much. We don't want to know what's happening. We want to be told what we want is happening. We want to be told a resolution that makes us feel better, as opposed to what's actually going on in these circumstances. And that's why I think sometimes the German press, generally speaking, the news is always very heavily weighted and favorable towards Dortmund. The British press normally towards our clubs. Why is that? Because they're feeding their core base. Don't be so fickle. Terry, any Chelsea news? Nothing really with Chelsea. Chelsea news is very, very quiet at this moment in time. No doubts about that whatsoever. The big question for you this morning, though, ladies and gentlemen, before we start going to your calls, can you see the Jadon Sancho deal happening before a ball is kicked at the Euros? Maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. Remember, Jadon Sancho is in England, playing tonight in an England shirt. Could we see during the rest day tomorrow this deal potentially resolved? A few photos taken, a medical completed, and the deal getting done and over the line. What do you think? Can this deal be done before the Euros? Hit that like and share. But on first caller this morning, we're going to get on to give us his views and opinions on these stories that we're breaking overnight is KJ. Morning, buddy. What are you saying?
Can we get this done before the Euros? Well, tomorrow is the 7th. You know what United like to do? They like to sign players on the day of their shirt number and that nonsense. We saw that a lot in Ollie's first proper transfer window with Maguire signing on the 5th of August. And I think Wan-Bissaka was on the 29th of June or July or something like that. So these men love doing those things. So I could see that happening because all these talks are happening rapidly. You know what I mean? A lot of things are coming out left, right, centre. Literally every night for the last 2 nights, there's been something come out about it. So it could happen. Do I think it will though? Probably not. I feel like this goes past the Euros. That trust of United's negotiation team and board are still not there. So for me, it probably goes past the Euros because of whatever reason it is. There probably will be an agreement in place. Everything will be ready. They just won't announce it for some time. And then obviously after the Euros, whenever England gets knocked out, a couple of days later, we'll probably sign Jadon Sancho. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, England. No, well, a few days after England win it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that those things can happen. I think it's interesting about it as well. One thing that needs to be made mindful is this: this is a gargantuan deal because of who Jadon Sancho is. Jadon Sancho is a tremendous talent, a brilliant football player. He will be an international winner as well by the end of this tournament. But you've almost got this element of he's a big social media guy. He's huge on socials. So there could also be a Paul Pogba scenario happening here where the deal could be agreed tomorrow, signed, sealed, delivered in terms of a kind of holding contract or a letter of intent that's legally binding, something along those lines put in place so that Man United can do the big grand music video style sort of announcement of him. So I wouldn't be surprised. I just wouldn't be surprised if it kind of the news tomorrow is massive, but nothing gets put out as complete. And then then a kind of message comes out Tuesday that nothing will happen before the Euros. We all feel a bit disappointed and go, and then the Euros happens. And then maybe, as you say, a day or two after, there's suddenly like 2 a.m. in the morning, a video just drops. Do you get what I mean? Like that wouldn't surprise me, hindsight wise, if we look back in a month or two and go, that's what kind of happened. Because with Pogba, that was the scenario. It turned out that he'd done all the agreement like 3 to 4 weeks before that video with Stormzy dropped. But in that 3 to 4 week period, every other day it was deals on, deals off, deals on, deals off. Do you know what I mean? Like the hype got built up. So it definitely could happen in that way. I want to ask you a question because I know you like me were very skeptical of the appointment of Myrtle and Fletcher. If Myrtle and Fletcher get this deal done before the Euros begins, is that going to give you more hope in terms of what they're doing in their capacity compared to the people that their predecessors in terms of negotiations, getting deals done quickly, just maintaining a better relationship with the clubs we're buying from?
I wouldn't say more hope, to be fair, because that makes it sound like after the bat, I'm like, yes, like it's gonna, like, no. It's a good first step. You know what I mean? Like it's a good first step. For me personally, for me to get the whole hopeful nature of the whole thing, I would need to see the whole transfer window. Because this deal was in the works for over a year before they even got their positions. So if they're able to speed up the deal, then I'm not really surprised at that because most of the things were in place for them to try and speed it up. But if you're going to the transfer window dealing with new clubs, getting that done quickly, getting everything sorted by pre-season, so all the new players come in by pre-season, and you don't really hear any reports of United, their negotiators were hard to deal with. No one wants to be talking to them. If I hear like refreshing news about the players enjoy talking to Murtaugh and Fletcher, the negotiations were easy and calm, then I'll be like, cool. Like from the transfer window, I can see there's a change happening with these two guys. But it's going to take more than one deal for me to be like, in Don Murtaugh and Don Fletcher we trust. Like I need to see a bit more from them. But it'd be a very good sign, a very good first step.
I agree with that completely, mate. That's my take on it. I'm not gonna I wouldn't throw baby out with the bathwater because do I expect us to go from the reputation we have in the transfer market to being respected and looked at as elite again in one summer? No. But at the same time, for each little deal that gets done properly for good money in a timely and professional manner, that'll lead me to think, okay, we're moving back in that right direction. And the reason this deal didn't go through last year is, how do I say this in the right way? Man United just listened to the wrong people. They believed that actually Dortmund would succumb to we'll bid at the last moment and we'll bid 108 mil or whatever it is, and that'll get the job done. And it didn't work out. Dortmund just dug their heels in, and that for me was why it became so painful last summer, because they kept on feeding into the media that it's okay, that the deadlines are minor. It's going to be okay. We've been told by people it's going to be fine, and they got it wrong. That's why I'm glad to see different people now involved, because that for me was a sackable offence. Not getting a player is fine, but this all that cocksure attitude last summer of Dortmund are going to. We spoke to our intermediaries. We spoke to really influential people in the market, and they have told us Dortmund will succumb to this bid in the final week of the transfer window. Don't worry about it, Man United fans. And it's that final now in the coffin. And I would treat my workplace like that. If I hire someone who's head of my commercial team and they tell me that this is going to be their approach and this is going to land us the targets that we want in the year, and their approach fails, they simply lose their job. I say, thank you for trying, but you're done now. I'm terminating your contract. You've got to go and find a new job. So I'm kind of happy that we've moved on. But as you say, let's see a few more of these examples move forward before anything else, mate. But it's going to be an interesting next 24 hours or so in relation to Jadon Sancho. I get a sense or a feeling there's going to be another big update fairly soon. Something's going to drop in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see. KJ, listen, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say this morning, mate. Really appreciate it, buddy. Top man. Everyone who's here with us today, remember, big news from Kevin Palmer this morning that the terms of Jadon Sancho's transfer are being finalised. This includes payment structure, installments, the £20 million additional add-ons that Dortmund want to have in place. There is a growing belief that both sides are keen to find a resolution in the coming days. That is from Kevin Palmer, who tends not to talk about things that he isn't fairly sure about. Jadon Sancho trending, as we all know, for the past 24 hours or so across social media. I want you all to come on and have your say with us this morning. Do me a big favor, hit that like and share button. The link is now in the live comment section if you want to come on, if you want to have your say. Better some of your comments here. We're going to get Josh Sutton on with us next. This is a little bit of banter here. Breaking news, United extend their contract with VAR. Pretty good. I love looking at some of these comments. Some of the comments make no sense to me. Here's one. It says, KJ called Terry a gammon and said he wants Terry's tears. I've seen a video. Probably said that. No, KJ wouldn't need to tap behind my back though. If KJ wanted to say that, he'd say it to my face still, because he's it's one of them ones. 100%. So yeah. Let's get Josh on to have his say with us this morning. Josh, what you saying, buddy?
Oh, how are you going today?
I'm very, very well. What's your take on the Jadon Sancho news?
I just, in a way, it feels like the same stuff recycled, to be honest. I mean, it's been this sort of teetering on the edge for the last 12 months or so. When it comes to getting it done before the Euros, I think the best, well, in my opinion, the best we could hope for is perhaps signed pending medical. I just don't see, past history has dictated that we're not that quick with everything. I don't have a lot of hope in Murtough and Fletcher. I think they're just sort of figureheads. But I sort of looked outside the box thinking about this. I mean, do you think perhaps there could be a sort of post-Euros, maybe a team viewer sort of marketing ploy to keep them happy? I mean, they took an absolute slogging after the ESL debacle. I'm thinking maybe there was a little word said between them saying, look, I'll just hold out, wait for the Euros to finish, and we'll maybe unveil Sancho with the team viewer kit rather than, I'm not sure when Chevrolet runs out, but there could be some sort of aspect to it. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, listen, I think that is a very logical point. That could be a case. I think that the Glazers and the club are really in a difficult position. It's what they care most about. I think you could be right with the agreement reached pending a medical that will happen after the Euros. And in some respects, you could argue from a footballing point of view, that's actually really sensible. Heaven forbid Jadon Sancho suffers a catastrophic injury during the Euros. You may not want to sign him straight away. Do you know what I mean? It could be one of them injuries where you say, I'd rather him recover in Germany and we take a look at the, you know what I mean? You let the doctor see the rabbit after the fact.
Like a Diallo kind of deal.
Yeah, but yeah, so there may be an element of that, but also what that does, that appeases away from the injury element, which I don't think will be a massive concern for them in terms of it won't change their thoughts and process. Doing an agreement reached medical after the Euros appeases both the sponsor element, like you mentioned, and the fans, because the fans would relax. The fans would relax as long as the deal was binding, that nobody else could now bid or nobody else could have a bid accepted. And all you need to do is write that into a contract. Do you get what I mean? So, and there's ways of which of doing that, like legally. So I think you could be right, and they could find a happy medium between the two things. In terms of Jadon Sancho coming to Man United, there's still a lot of talk that the right-hand side of the attack isn't a priority area. What's your thoughts, of him potentially joining the club? How much do you think he'll improve Manchester United, and how much more balance do you think he'll bring to the team?
I honestly think it's going to shore up the right-hand side. I mean, I think he'll develop a good relationship with either Trippier or Wan-Bissaka, and that'll help going forward and having attack from both flanks rather than relying on Rashford and Martial and whoever trying to sort of cut in, create space. But I can't see anyone. I don't know. I don't agree with anyone that says it's not a needed signing. I mean, Diallo's young, Palestri's out on loan. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing in the first team, if they will be. But yeah, I just think that hole has been not filled by anyone of world class stature since Ronaldo. Really, I mean, Nani did all right, and I think Valencia played there a little bit. They were stable, they were astute, but not to the levels that Sancho is and can reach. So I definitely think it's essential. And I mean, Greenwood, he's following Cavani's footsteps. He'll be number 9, no doubt. He can rotate it with Martial if he's not sold in the coming seasons. So yeah, I think it's needed, definitely.
Mate, completely agree with you on that one. Josh, thank you for all your support and coming on the show, mate. Really appreciate that, buddy. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, we've got Roy here with us. Roy, welcome to the terrace. Mind everybody who support?
Yeah, I support Chelsea today.
Okay, can you take your mouth a little bit away from the microphone, please? What are you here to say today?
Actually, I'm disappointed to see that Manchester United is closing on Sancho, because I wanted Sancho myself for Chelsea.
Yeah, I bet you did, because he's brilliant. He's brilliant. There's been a lot of people that believe for a while now that Chelsea may come in and take him away from Manchester United. Do you still see that as a possibility?
It's looking highly unlikely, because I think we are not going after Sancho. Whereas probably by now we would have heard some rumors from someone right in this moment, like Chelsea is trying to hijack the deal, Chelsea is in negotiation or something like that. But no such rumors in the market right in this moment. So I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't think we are going to offload Pulisic or you say ZH in this transfer window. Even ZH was linked with some clubs. I don't think it's going to happen this window. So I don't see where Sancho fits. I mean, we won't be able to give him first team football. I mean, regularly he won't be a part of the starting lineup. So I think that's a big issue where Sancho will have an edge in Manchester United, because he will be starting every game. So it's highly unlikely for us.
100%, mate. Totally agree. Roy, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your say. And that's something to really pose to rival fans in relation to this. A lot of Chelsea, a lot of Liverpool fans. The amount of Liverpool fans I've seen in the past 3 to 4 weeks talk about, we've made direct contact, we're negotiating, he wants to come to us. What's your thoughts and feelings on this now? Do Chelsea and Liverpool fans still think they stand a chance in this, especially with the news that's come out in the last 24 hours or so? I'd love your views and I'd love your opinions on that, ladies and gentlemen. I genuinely would. I really, really would. I really, really would. Let's go through a few more of your comments on here. At the same time, what else do you think could be going on here? In terms of, I've seen a lot of people in the comments sort of really excited. Are there any Man United fans out here that think maybe nothing still has happened, that nothing is progressing, that nothing is really changing at all? Would love your thoughts and would love your feelings on that, ladies and gentlemen. I want your comments coming in. I'd love you to phone up and have your say. We want all opinions on here, regardless of what kind of suits the narrative as it stands. Would love to hear from you in relation to that right now. I love some of the comments that come in here. Just this one here, where's it gone? It's disappeared. It's gone off my screen where it just said Sancho's just overrated. I love it. Travis here says they have no chance. Kay says he sounds dejected as in the Chelsea fan. Yeah, I can understand why he would feel that way as a Chelsea fan with everything that is going on. Let's do a few more comments that are coming through here. Sancho could go to Chelsea. It's an open race, is what Alex G believes. And it's fair to believe that still. It is fair to believe it. It is fair to believe it. It is fair to believe it. Sorry, I've got to message somebody back. I've got a funny message, made me laugh. Hi, Terry. Any updates on Heaton and Winks? Do you know what's crazy? With the Heaton thing, I didn't really report on the Heaton deal. It's in like a video because I would never do a video for signing for like a third choice goalie or a new groundsman or something like that. I don't really see the point. On Winks, the news came out yesterday. I just, do you know the Wink? I don't even know the Harry Winks deal. I can't see it. Or maybe it's not that I can't see it. Maybe it's I'm in denial because I'm desperate for that not to happen. David says, I was just catching my last night late stream. Terry, you're a beast with the streams. I can't keep up. No worries, David. We just report as and when the news comes out, and you know we kind of go with it from there. In relation to that, we had a super chat just come through. So I don't see him coming without Salah or Mane leaving. Sancho is a quality addition, but United need a good centre back the most. I think we do. It's interesting. What I find interesting about the whole what Man United need most, and I'm not disregarding your point here, Daniel. I'm taking it seriously. I feel like, and how do I say this? How do I say this in the right way? Everybody has I don't think it matters who Man United was signing or close to signing. A narrative would be pushed out that wasn't the right person for us. If we were about to sign a centre-back or about to sign a CDM, I legitimately believe the big noise would be, yeah, but we need a right-sided attacker. You know, you remember when before the central midfield and defence become an issue for Man United fans a few months ago, it was all, no, we don't need a Sancho, we need a striker. No, we don't need a striker, we need a Sancho. There's always that debate and that conjecture around what Man United need. I think it's because we're weak in those areas and everyone will have a different preference. But Jadon Sancho has come along once in a blue moon. You've got to get those deals done as and when you can. You truly, truly do. Let's do a few more of your comments coming through here. A few people saying Fabrizio Romano was just tweeted. Let's go and have a look and see what Fabs has said. He may have done. Sometimes people tell me he's tweeted, and I look and there's no tweet. But let's see what he says here. PSG offered Wijnaldum more than double the salary, and Gini accepted during the night. Wow, PSG to Gini Wijnaldum. So PSG have got Gini. He has rejected Barcelona, and that's what it is. That's what it is. I know that Barca are going to try and spin this now. Barca will try and spin it and be like, well, actually, we weren't prepared to pay that money, so we walked away. You rejected. We got the playing of semantics is crazy. Oh, wow. That's big, big news. There's not a here we go yet, but it says PSG want Gini to sign the contract as soon as possible after his Barca deal turnaround. PSG are now working on the next steps with the medicals. Pochettino has called him many times in the last 50. This is the most random bit. It says Poch has called him many times in the last 56 hours. 56 hours. You never really see 56 given out. You always see 48. You always see 24. You very rarely see 58, 56. Because it's kind of random, isn't it? That's kind of random. Because it's 12 and 24. 36, 48. You very rarely see 56. I love that, Fabrizio. I love that. We've got Louis who's coming on the line now to have his say with us. Louis, what you saying, buddy? Hello, Louis. I don't know if Louis was ready. I don't know if Louis was ready. Oh, he's back. He's back. Are you there, Louis?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Hey, dude, you know, you remind me of someone, bro.
I get that all the time, dude. I get that. I do a lot of live shows on Facebook on
no,
YouTube.
it's not even that. You remind me of you remind me of Otto from Sons of Anarchy. She's got that look about you, bro.
I get that, dude. I get that a lot. Yeah, I'm a bass player. I play in a band. So I go. I'm well. I got one of them faces, you know. Yeah.
You know, I literally thought it was that guy. I love that. He's the guy that wrote it as well, which was amazing. Who do you support, by the way?
Chelsea.
Lovely. What are you here to say this morning?
Talking about the Sancho thing. I'm glad Man United is getting Sancho, you know? That way Chelsea can focus on what we need to do. Chelsea doesn't need Jadon Sancho. Our attacking, we can't even get Ziyech in the game. We can't even get Callum Hudson-Odoi into enough games. We don't need a Jadon Sancho. And, it's good to see, Man United has been struggling so much. Their fans and, trying to get people that they want into the club. It's good to see something like that actually happening for you guys.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that, mate. I think it's. Listen, I'm never happy to see any of my rivals sign a big player. If I'm being absolutely honest, but then there is this part of me, like with the Arsenal situation with Buendia, I really hate seeing big clubs run poorly.
Yes, me too. I'm all about the quality of football, Imagine if Chelsea signs Haaland, you guys get Sancho. That Man United and Chelsea game, it's just going to be crazy. Even if you're a Man United fan or a Chelsea fan, it's just going to be entertaining to watch. So I was watching your show yesterday about the Buendia thing. That was a good show. Real good show. It was crazy.
I appreciate that, my guy.
And I'm new here, and I gotta say I'm real impressed with your format and the way you run your show. I've never seen anything like it in the football world. It's crazy.
I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. We do try to be a little bit different in relation to that. So thank you very much, my guy. I really appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, man.
No worries, mate. Take care. Thank you. Speak to you in a bit. Top man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Look, everyone that's tuned in. So we've got Cal actually coming on now. Sorry, Cal's here with us. What do you want to say, Cal?
You're right, Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very, very good, mate. What are you here to say, buddy?
Just a quick one about Sancho. I'm kind of pleased that everything's going in the right direction now. Like, obviously from last year, like there was so much going on with Sancho, but we just didn't get a deal done. I'm not getting too hyped about anything right now. Like, everyone's feeling the same way because obviously this could slip up at any moment. And when you're talking about Sancho and stuff, it's like he's going to bring a lot of passion to our club and stuff, and hopefully we can make a big impact in like this next season coming ahead. So yeah, I'm just feeling a bit of both really, but yeah, I just came on to say that I'm happy that things are looking like good this time around.
Yeah, no, mate, I totally hear what you're saying there, and I hope that it does move forward. Of course, there are lots of people out there. Again, as I'm saying, I see it in the comments here. There's comments here from Jenny. I've lost them off my screen, saying nothing has been agreed. There's quite a few people out there, including Man United fans, that don't think anything's happened, that nothing's moved forward, and that's just the nature of this beast. As I said yesterday, when it comes to the transfer window, I'm a dog chasing the car. I don't really care about catching it. I just report on what's being said. I report on what people are hearing and give people the opportunity to have their say, give their thoughts, give their opinions and everything else, and see what comes of it. I wouldn't take it overtly seriously in any direction, because you see what's happened in a real terms. Look at the Buendia situation. Just in the space of no time at all, bang, the world changes and these things happen. They really, really do. But listen, Cal, thanks for coming on, having your say. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Everybody else that tuned in this morning, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again very